Hey, welcome to the Financial Wealth Podcast. My name is Darius Lester, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. CJ. And we're just here to talk about mental health, financial wealth, and everything in between them and how they interact with each other. So before we begin, CJ, do you have anything for the people?
No, I'm excited to help any way I can. I'm a student myself as far as learning how to um expand on my finances and financial literacy and all of that, but I can definitely contribute a lot on the psychological end of things since I've studied a lot on that myself and I've also done a lot of sessions with that. So
For sure.
I'm excited to help people.
Oh, yes, sir. No, we're excited to be here with you. All right. So today we're going to focus on stress, anxiety, and your bank account, right? How all three of those things interact with each other and how some of them make the other ones go up and how some of those other things make the other ones go down. All right. So first off, how financial stress impacts mental health. So I'd like to ask you, how do you believe financial stressors affect your mental health on a day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year?
I feel like it breaks down over time, to be honest. Like, I feel like a lot of people don't put enough emphasis on how much your finances can affect your mental health. Like, we look at things like relationships or jobs. We look at things like our physical health in some cases, but we don't look at our financial health. And a lot of times your financial health is sometimes the foundation for how a lot of those other situations break down. Like you may have like for instance, you might have some physical impairment or something. Like for instance, I had an infection recently, right? And let's say I didn't have the money to properly fix that. Like that would have then triaged into, okay, well now I can't do the normal activities I wanted to do. Now I can't maybe I can't do like relationship type things. I can't go to work like I want to. So that's going to reduce the amount of money I'm getting. So I think things like that ends up happening, which ends up affecting your mental health and everything. Um, so I feel like it kind of umbrellas in. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think those are good points. I agree. I do believe people put more emphasis on maybe the physical or things outside of money that they're in control of, and they feel like that's the biggest things to focus on when it comes to their mental health. But obviously, me working in the financial field, I have seen. I've probably seen finances mess up people's emotions way harder than anything else. Whether it be me working my day to day job, helping people, from a desk, people get emotional. I've seen people try to fight some of my coworkers over their paychecks. I've seen people come in and break down, whether it be maybe a divorce or something. So yeah. One memory I have that's kind of been locked in my head since from back when I joined. A young man came in. He was probably about 19 years old, um, bawling, like crying. And I was like, yo, and I'm at work, we're on a military base. So you don't normally see military guys, bawling, crying like that. But he was basically telling me his high school sweetheart, they got married. They were trying to build a life together. I think they ended up only being together maybe a year and a half or so. And she cleared out his bank account. She cleared out any joint accounts they had. She took stuff out of the house. I guess they used to have a jar of money on top of the fridge. She took that too, and she left and went back to her parents' house. I'm guessing they were already established that they were going to break up, but she made sure she got everything that she could for herself before they actually dissolved their marriage. So he was coming in because all his paychecks were going to that joint account, so he literally had nothing to live off of. So on top of that emotional stress from losing a loved one, not through death but through divorce,
Yeah.
and then also that added heavy financial stress of now I can't even afford to live. Having those tied on top of each other is just terrible. So I just remember feeling really bad for that guy.
Mhm. That kind of goes into something else I was thinking about security. That's something that even I overlooked, up until I got into my 30s. Because,
Hmm.
when you're in your 20s, you're not really thinking about these things. Like, you're not thinking about the what ifs, I guess, like, preparation and all of that. And, for that example that you made, he lost his security basically.
Right.
Like you can be physically fit to secure yourself. You can be mentally fit to secure yourself in case things happen. But the financial security is very important too because of situations like that, or situations where your car, may break down and that's your only way to get to work or get to where you need to get to. You don't have any money saved up. So, yeah.
No, and I I like that because I guess when I think of like security or your preparedness for events that you don't want to happen in life, right? So if you're thinking about, oh, I need to, protect my family or something, I need to be in certain physical shape to be able to protect them. You
Mhm.
can't just go your whole life doing whatever you want, not working out, not eating healthy, not, doing the things you need to do to keep your body up or to get stronger. And then, the day of when somebody's about to, attack your wife or something, be like, oh,
Yeah,
fitness kick in. Like that's not a
yeah,
thing. Like
no.
you have to do stuff prior to always be ready. And that's something that comes up with finances a lot because people will not do anything, for years and years, go into debt, not have emergency savings, what have you. And then whenever that emergency hits, their roof falls in, they lose their apartment, the all four tires on their car blow out. Now it's like, oh, now I need all my finances to be ready for whatever's going on in my life. And that doesn't work like that either. You need
Mhm.
to be building up that financial muscle prior to so that you'd be ready for whatever could come your way afterwards.
Yep, I agree.
So yeah,
I
no, I feel
agree
like
with that.
that's a good comparison. So, and I guess on that tip of relationships and how money ties to those, many studies show that money, some say it's number two, some say it's number one, but money is the biggest reason why a lot of relationships fail or break down. Why do you think that is?
I think it goes back to what we were talking about, and I feel like, man, especially so in a relationship, right? A man is expected to protect. A man is expected to provide and secure. And like we were talking about, not just physically and potentially even mentally in some cases, also financially. Because like you said, it's not you can be the most jack dude ever, but if your finances are crap, like you said, when that roof falls in, or like you said, your wife's car, their tire blows out, or something goes wrong with their car, how are you gonna fix it? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna need some money to fix those things. And when you can't do that, that makes you look unreliable as a man and as a provider. And that's gonna cause some friction. And in the same case, even on, the ladies' side of things, you're expected to kind of uphold your side of the financial um, I guess foundation as well. And trust gets broken through finances, because it's a lot of times, especially when you're married, you have like joint accounts, like you mentioned. And then you have to go over like, okay, I trust that I can join because your finances is like your life, basically. It's like your lifeline. So it's like, I'm trusting my life with you, basically. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a big trust thing there. And I think that causes a lot of problems too. And then and we were talking about the mental aspects of keeping your finances together to keep your mental up. But now it's times two because you got another person in there. You know what I'm saying? So now you got double the stresses and double all of those things. That's just my thoughts on it, at least.
No, and that's a big key. So I got married. I still call it recently. We've been married about a year and a half now. And while I was single and just kind of doing stuff on my own, I felt like I had my financial life together kind of like all the time, right? Because
Mhm.
I'd gotten used to how much I spend, what my goals were, and I could properly allocate my money into those places. Things get so much more complicated when you get a girlfriend, when you get a wife, when you get kids, it gets very convoluted. Shoot, speaking of studies, I think something else I saw, I think it said men who are in relationships, like even just dating, end up spending like, I don't know, two, three, 4,000 extra dollars a year than single men.
Wow.
And I'm like, yep, I believe that. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
that dating is expensive.
Yeah. Can't do
I
that.
still haven't, that's one type of math I still haven't figured out why when I'm single, if I go out to eat, like 20, $25, if I'm at like a sit down restaurant or something, we'll say $25. But if I go out to eat with my girlfriend, all of a sudden you would think $50 because that's what math has taught me. But
Mhm.
being 75,
Yeah.
$80. And I'm like,
Jumps up. Yeah.
here by myself, it was 25. I added one person, I'm at 75, 80, $100. How'd that happen? So, you take that and that's just, one meal, you multiply that over multiple dates, multiple outings. Yeah, you're gonna end up spending thousands of more dollars than you would have if you would have been by yourself for that year.
Yeah.
So
Seriously.
it's
And the way
interesting.
and sorry, I was gonna say, and in that example, um, did you and that person get the same items? Because I think a lot of times, I know for me, when I go out and I'm just assuming most dudes are kind of like this. I know there's women that's like this too, but I'm a
Mhm.
guy, so I can only speak from my perspective.
Sure.
Um, I think we're a bit more conscious of what we're getting a lot of times, I'd say, in the sense of like, okay, I have a budget, that I'm not trying to go over when I eat, basically. And I have that like I have it like kind of it's like an automated program or something in my head. Like, okay, I like dang, this is like 15, 20 something dollars. I'm, da 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 da. I don't think and then when you're on a date, a lot of times, especially since a lot of times it's expected for the guy to pay, especially in the earlier days. I don't think that consciousness is necessarily there all the time, I think. And I think that might be why sometimes things can get added on. There's a lot of things I don't really know about. Like I don't get like if I can't pronounce it on the menu, I'm not getting it. And a lot of
Sure.
times on dates, people like to try things, and then sometimes that can end up being more expensive too. So
No, I think that's a real thing. Again, I don't know all the men in the world. I don't know all the women in the world.
yep,
I do know myself and I
yep,
I know my wife. Yes, whenever I'm picking food, really on any day, I'm thinking, okay, yes, I'm hungry, but also this is how much I feel like spending right now.
yeah,
Both of those things are part of my thought process before I pick a restaurant, before I pick what food I'm getting from said restaurant. I'm very sure my wife does not have that same function. Um,
yeah,
from what I've witnessed, just my personal observations,
sure,
I believe her mind works like this. I'm hungry. Ooh, that sounds good.
yeah,
I'm buying that. Like,
yeah,
there's no the price, what restaurant, none of
yep,
that is a part of the conversation.
yep,
Something else that occurs in my mind is, all right, how far away is said restaurant? Because I don't like to DoorDash.
right,
Because that junk add up fast. So normally I'll like if you go look at my bank statement, you'll probably see I frequent restaurants that are closer to the vicinity of my house. Again, my wife, she just, I'm hungry. Ooh, that sounds good. It doesn't matter where the place is at. It don't matter if it's down the street or if it's in Georgia. She's like, yep, that's what I want right now. The price doesn't matter. If it's a $40 plate with a $20 delivery fee, she doing that. Yeah. You know, not saying it's a bad thing. It's just different different ways we go about things. Uh, so it gets real interesting in a house, when you're trying to manage money and do budgets and stuff. Because you can't just tell somebody, hey, quit being like you and start being like me. Right? That's not fair.
No, no.
So
You
yeah,
can
it's
set
just
boundaries and stuff. That'd be it.
mhm,
And I think going into what you were saying, you know, I think that, this could be flipped into something slightly controversial,
sure.
but honestly, I'll just say, like, I mean, it's scientifically proven, but in some cases, like, we tend to think a little more logically in
Mhm,
situations, and a lot of times women are more prone to think emotionally first, which is fine because in some cases that's good. It's good that they are able to tap because they tap into empathy and, creativity and all those things a lot better than we do, you
mhm,
know. But when it comes to like in the moment decision making, that's why they look to us, and that's why we had to have ourselves together too. But that's one of the examples of that, like, oh, food, that's an impulsive kind of decision making, which is fine in some cases, but that's why we're here to lead, and I guess that's where the boundaries have to be set. Like, look, you might have to get you some chicken nuggets or some fries this time, or some chicken tenders or something, because I'm
something,
not trying
man.
to spend
Right,
200 bucks tonight when we got this bill coming up, kind of thing.
for sure. We just had a birthday, or we getting close to a holiday, man. We need to get you some of these dino nuggies.
Yeah,
Like, just, hey, alright,
you
you
might have
just
to get this 2 for 20 real quick. You know what I'm
hey,
saying?
man,
Like
I'm
they got
telling
you.
you.
They got
Hey,
the same little pasta ragu thing on here. You can get that.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
man, it's the same thing, man. We
yeah, yeah,
got
yeah,
we got Olive Garden at the house. Like, we good. Just,
yeah, yeah.
um
We can always go out and get something nice, of course, but there needs
mhm.
to be
Yeah.
boundaries. Yeah,
Yeah, I think, sometimes you just wanna manage the frequency of it, and then
right.
something worth talking about, is, if your significant other is maybe spending more than you're, like, comfortable with,
Mm,
you may try to be, nice and just, let it go on, but I don't think that's the best method because, everything has a limit.
yep.
I try not to do things or let stuff go on too long that would cause me to grow resentment.
Mm, yeah.
Something that'll, explode later on, dang it, you for
Yep.
the past year, you've been overspending this and this and this. I've been
Yep.
eating ramen for lunch to balance out what you eat every day. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
no one wants to be that guy.
No.
So, preventative ways is communication,
Yep.
right? Just, hey, if you notice something irks you a bit, maybe you let one slide. If you notice they do it again, it's like, okay, this may be a regular thing.
Yep.
Just one, don't just say whatever first thing that comes to your mind. It's never good.
Oh boy.
Take a second,
Yeah.
think, and it's like, all right, what's the best way I could say this to this person in which they would receive it well?
Yep.
Right. So if you feel
Yep.
like your spouse is, spending too much on food or ordering DoorDash too much, it's like, all right, well, one, think from their perspective, why are they doing that? Well, why do you think that they're doing that? You know, maybe they're tired every day and they just truly don't feel like going out to eat. They want whatever the food is, and DoorDash is the most convenient way for them to get that. And it's like, okay, how can we acknowledge that they have those feelings while still protecting our own wallet? So honestly, that real life scenario, I that kind of happened, right? I think my spouse is a lot more comfortable with door dashing than I am. So I was like, hey, I get it. You don't feel like going to places, you like to chill out after you get home because you're tired. Makes sense, right? Validate their feelings. And then be like, all right, just so we have more money between us, on the day to day, how about whenever you do want food, like let me know, right? Communicate that with me. I don't mind driving to wherever to go get it. Like I will get up, throw on a hoodie, get in my car because I mean I like driving because I listen to my podcast and stuff. So I'll drive 20 minutes, get your little seafood pasta, bring it back because that only costs me like $5 in gas, as opposed to paying somebody $20 extra to DoorDash it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like,
Yeah.
I will do that. You just let me know, let us have this back and forth communication to do that. And then I'll go do that. And now, we're saving a couple extra dollars. Or if I did know I over leveraged, we spent too much money the month before. Hey, if we could chill out this month and maybe half of next month on maybe just being conscious with spending a little less than we normally do just to help get our savings back to this spot because we had to fix this thing last month, I'd appreciate it. And I think just doing that and being open with acknowledging their feelings, uh, telling them, kind of what the issue is, and also giving suggestions on how you're open to
Mm,
doing things to help fix it.
mhm.
I think those are good ways to try to communicate that.
Yeah, I agree. You explained that perfectly, just having a structure like that, because people like to don't like to just be told what to do. A lot of
Yeah.
times, like, okay, well, how do I do it? Why is it important?
Yep.
Like people need to know these things to have the enthusiasm or whatever to get started with something. I mean, it's the same way, like, I'll use a personal example. Like last year when we were doing the workout challenge, that started again. You was like, hey, let's set a goal. The purpose of this is to get us more in line with our goals and
Hmm.
whatnot, give you something to aim towards.
Yep.
We're just gonna shoot for 60 days. We're gonna work out for 60 days and we're gonna see what's up. We're gonna report back to each other every day, hold each other accountable. It's like instead of just, hey, you need to work out and do this and that and this and that, it's just like, hey, let's do this together. Or here is the reason why this is beneficial, stuff like that. And it
Right.
helps. Yeah. Good part of leadership.
No, for sure. For sure. Um, no, I think it's good. I think it helps. And then the beautiful thing about like kind of like setting goals and stuff is hopefully you get to your goal, try really hard to get to it. But worst case scenario, I don't know, on like the 60-day thing, I don't know, maybe only make it 30 days. At that day 30, you're still many times better than you were at day zero.
Mhm.
Right. So it's like,
Mhm.
even, don't get discouraged just because you didn't hit, the 60 and you only hit 30. That's still an amazing accomplishment.
Yes.
But the reason you were able to hit that 30-day accomplishment is because your goal was 60, right? Because maybe if you would have set a 30-day goal, you might have only been there for 15.
That's true.
Yeah, the way human brain works with those things is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
But all right. No, I thought that was good. Um Finances really do affect a lot of, mental and emotional things, especially when it comes to relationships. So in closing, do you have anything else you wanted to share with the people?
I'll just say this, and it's kind of wrapping up everything that we've said too. It's just you said something beautiful earlier about like you should respond and not react because it's easy to react, especially again, financial situations can become very personal and it's easy to get angry about it because it starts again, it's something that we put in the back of our mind. So it starts off really tiny and it can grow and explode. So definitely, like Darius said, earlier, just go ahead and talk to the person about it. Don't try to run away from the situation, avoid conflict, just talk about it. But talk about it in a way that's understandable for them and a way that isn't attacking them. You want them to
Hmm.
not feel like they're attacked. Because once that happens, they're defensive and they're not going to want to listen to you. So, yeah.
For sure. I think that was summed up very well. I agree with it all. So yeah, no, this was the first episode of Mental Wealth. If you made it this far, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I am Darius. He is CJ. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.
All right. Take it easy.